Patterson was going to New York. In fact, it was 1979
Okay.
is when it was, 1979. Got my dates mixed up there. And I said to Pat, when you go to New York, would you give Vince McMahon these photos? It was of Sergeant Slaughter from Kansas City. And he said, Matthew, I never saw these. My nickname was Matthew, but
Right.
about another long story. But so he says, oh, I never saw this character. I always saw you as Super Destroyer, Mark II. So 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from Vince McMahon Sr. Yeah, Pat Patterson showed me some pictures, interesting character. I was wondering if maybe you'd come up and do a promo for me. So, same thing. I go there, go through 3, hours of tapings, and he finally said, I want you to go do a promo with my son. I said, well, which one is he? He said, he's the one with the fancy hairdo and got all the muscles. And, he was talking about Vince.
Right, Vince Jr.
So finally, it's time for us to do the promo, and Vince McMahon Sr. says, is there anything that you could you want me to do to help your entrance? And I said, yeah. So I went in my bag and I gave him a cassette tape. And he said, what do you want me to do with that? I said, can you play that? He said, what is it? I said, it's the Marine Corps hymn. He said, you want me to play the Marine Corps hymn when you go out? I said, yeah. He said, never thought about music before. He said, I'll go see. So he went, came back. He said, yeah, the guys in the truck said they can put it across the loudspeaker. So
I got chill bumps.
getting ready, yeah. Gives me chill bumps every time I think about it. So getting ready for me to go out. They had one more match, the dark match before, to make sure everybody would stay there. So he says, when your music plays, go on out. So Vince Sr. used to have like 4 quarters, nervously. So he's like waiting for the music to start. As soon as the music starts, I go to leave, and he stops quarters, and he stops me just like you just did.
Right.
And he's listening to the crowd, the reaction, because there was never music before.
Go
And
kid.
it got kind of like quiet, and he shoved me through the curtain. And I
love
walk
it.
out, and I blow my whistle. I got a cigar, and I'm yelling at people, calling them maggots, telling them to stand up and salute me. You're a puke. You're a
Instant
slime.
heel.
And by the time I got to Vince Jr., they were coming over the railings.
Sure, of
They
course.
killed me. They didn't know who I was.
Nothing.
So, of course, he goes into his character, and he goes, whoa, what do we got here? And I went right up to him in his face, and I went, shut your old puke. Who gave you permission to speak? And he went along with it,
Right. Sold it.
So I'm walking around, put your chest out, and, stand at attention, put those feet together, and he's like going along with it, loving it.
Wow.
And I do this promo, and I went to finish it. And as I'm walking off, he says, well, maybe we'll be seeing some more of this Sergeant Slaughter.
You sure will.
I had the cigar, and I thought, well, I'm going to put an exclamation point on this one. So I took a big drag, and I blew it in his face, and he started turning colors, purple and yellow and green and red, and he was shaking, and I didn't realize he hated smoke.
He hated smoke.
But he hates smoke.
I didn't know that.
You can't even be around him. He'll fire you or find
Oh my God.
Even though
So anybody that knows this story knows that this is something. I didn't know Vince that well, so that was the biggest no-no ever.
Right.
And you
So-
do the biggest no-no ever
and
to your future
I
boss.
flew in his face, and I said, you will be seeing me, maggot. And I walked off. So I get back in the dressing room, and of course, anybody that was still there, they're all like, that poor guy, he lost his job.
And he just got fired.
Before he even got
He has no
started,
idea.
he had no idea.
What he just did.
So I'm taking off my combat boots, and the dark match goes in, and all of a sudden I hear these quarters. And I'm down, taking my combat boot off, and I see these loafers walking around my chair. And finally they stop in front of me, and I look up, and he's like those quarters, and he's shaking his head. Finally, he gives me one of these. Doesn't say a word. Follow me. So quarters are going. I follow him into this back room. Walks around me. I got one combat boot under my arm and one on my foot, and I'm waiting to be fired.
Right.
He finally stops in my face and he goes, "That's the greatest character I've ever seen in this business. I've never seen a villain like that before. Even my son hates you. You need to start tomorrow." And I said, "Oh," I said, "Well, I can't. I'm still wrestling kind of up in Minnesota."
Oh, yes, you can, he said.
"Don't worry about it. I'll
Forget
take
it,
care
kid.
of it. You need to be here." So that's how I got my moving to New York. And,
Wow.
yeah.
What a great story, Sarge. That's fantastic, man. I mean, when all's said and done, Sarge, how many years would you have, counting him right now, up to date, how many years have you been doing this?
51. Yeah.
51 years.
Yeah. Well, it might be even more. I started in 72, professionally 73, so I'd be 51.
So 51 years.
53,
Well,
52.
well, that's right, so 52 years. 52 years, brother.
Yeah.
And would you do anything different?
No, I wouldn't do anything different, because you can't look back.
No.
Some of the things I did, I should have stayed for WrestleMania 1, but I got the call from Hasbro when I did I came back from Charlotte. Vince McMahon Sr. said, "I want you to leave." And I said, "Oh, did I do something wrong?" He said, "No, you're doing everything right. I just don't want you to be overexposed your first time." So there's an opening in Charlotte if you want to go down there. I said, "Yeah, I'll go down." So I went down there, became the U.S. champion, had great matches with Ricky Steamboat, Wahoo, and all those great workers.
Oh, my God, every person, right.
And so, because the world champion was from the NWA in the Charlotte area, he was always gone. So the U.S. champion was basically the world champion there.
Right.
So I had 2 runs of that, and finally it was time to leave.
Right.
So I went back up to New York, and first night I was in, we did the 3 tapes. I was still the big heel. Vince Sr. said, "You got to come out, have a drink and some dinner.
Right.
I'm so glad you're back." And so we have dinner. We sit at the bar. Pat Patterson's there, and Vince Jr. and a couple other guys, Artie Skolin. And so we're all sitting around. "God, it's good to have you back, Sergeant." Mr. McMahon Sr. never called me Bob or Sergeant Slaughter. He always called me Sergeant. He says, "Sergeant, it's so good to have you back. So
I love it.
You're the greatest villain of all time in this business." And I was getting all the pats on the back. And I said, "Well, Mr. McMahon, if you think I'm such a great villain, you ought to see me as a hero." And he went, "What? Sergeant Slaughter is a hero?"
Hero?
He said, "No, you could
it's
never
not
be a hero.
possible.
No, there's no way you could be a hero." "Well, what do you got in mind?" I said, "Well, I've been looking the situation over, and you got the Iron Sheik here from Iran.
What a great
You
angle.
got the United States Marine Corps. We never got to punch Ayatollah in the nose for all that he did.
All of it.
I went through the whole thing, the Black Hawks going
And
down.
he was
there,
instantly sold.
killing
How could he
them.
not be?
All the Marines at the embassy. I went to
You went through all of it. Were you ready for this? You wanted it. You must have wanted.
I wanted it.
Okay,
yeah.
you want. So you
Yeah.
researched. You got.
I
So you were
researched.
ready.
Oh, yeah.
You were
I
ready to
was
tell
ready.
this.
So, he almost hypnotized.
I'm about to say, is he
He
mesmerized?
was almost hypnotized.
I mean,
And he finally snapped out of it. He goes, "Oh, you almost had me there, Sergeant. You almost had me there. No, you could never. That might work for a couple of weeks or a month or 2, but
He had no
you'll
idea.
ruin your character as the villain."
Right.
And I looked over his shoulder, and his son was taking over the company. He's going.
so you just go ahead and
Senior-
tease the senior.
Yeah.
Yes,
Senior
sir.
turns
Okay.
around and says, "Vinny, don't you turn the sergeant into a
He
hero.
knew it, he knew it.
Don't do it.
It's wrong.
You'll regret
It's
it."
wrong.
And so
But Buddy
the
was
next
it,
time
right?
we do TV, 3 weeks later, I go out as the villain. First hour, second hour I go as the villain. Third hour I'm not scheduled. So I'm taking my stuff off.
Don't take it off yet.
Iron Sheik is going to do a match with Eddie Gilbert. They're going to carry him out. So Vince Jr. comes in. He says, "Are you ready, Sergeant? You ready?" I said, "Yeah, I'm ready. What do you got?" He said, "What you talked to my dad about a couple weeks ago, 3
I'm
weeks
ready to
ago."
do it.
He said, "I want to do it." I said, "Okay. When do you want to do it? Next 3 weeks. He goes,
Now.
"Do it right now." I said, now? He goes, in 5 minutes. I'm gonna go tell the truck. They're the only ones that are gonna know, except you and me. Not even, nobody's gonna know. Not Blassie, I had told him.
Nobody.
Not Darren Sheik, not Bruno, not Pat, who's doing the commentary. Only you, I, and everybody, you know. They said, element of surprise. But the element of surprise. He said, get ready as soon as you're ready. We're going. So I put my stuff back on, and I can't find my campaign cover. You know, one of the Bring Boys or whatever brought it back and put it somewhere, and I can't, and we're ready to go. So I grabbed one of my baseball caps that had the Marine Corps, you know,
Still
letter
perfect.
name on
It
it.
might have been good. Might have been good, a little
Might have
different.
been better.
That's
So,
right.
the time comes, and they're trying to get Eddie out of the ring because the Sheik beat him up so bad, and he keeps knocking him off the gurney and this and that, and they hit the Marine Corps him, and the place kind of went like dead.
What's going on?
Like, what's
Why's
happening?
the bad guy coming out
And I
here?
walked out, and I'm just standing there looking, and they all went, yeah, the Marines are coming. The Marines are coming.
USA. Oh my
USA.
God.
Of
course.
And I look at Sheik, and he's like, and Fred Blassier, I can read their lips. They're going, wrong music, wrong music. They're playing the wrong music. You know? Yeah, I don't think he had music.
Right.
So they're like, they don't know what's going on. So off we go. We meet each other halfway to there, boom, boom, boom.
Right.
We don't have any blows. We just say a few bad words to each other. I get up, make sure Eddie's okay. And right before Vince left, he said, I want you to give me your best patent promo. Now, you know what that's like. You have to ad lib because
Right.
we didn't have
Sure.
writers back
Sure.
then. So I'm thinking, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? So I just grabbed the microphone and I said, Iron Sheik, I declare war on you. And
Right.
people are, yeah, USA. And I said, there's one thing I've done since I was a young boy in school. I did it in the Cub Scouts, I did it in the Boy Scouts, I did it in the Marine Corps, and I'm doing it right now. And I put my hand on my heart and started doing the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. And those people
Stood.
Marcus, they jumped up on their chairs, got their lighters going.
You're saying
And,
they're taking the hats
and
off.
to the Republic. I mean, it was just like,
Religion.
and it was the most incredible turnaround because just an hour,
What a switch.
an hour before that, or even less than 10 minutes before that,
Yeah.
I was the worst,
Vicious heel.
most hated.
That's the biggest turnout that's ever happened in the history of wrestling.
So,
The successfully
lo and
turned.
behold, very successful. Next time I come to TV, there's like 8 bags of canvas bags of mail, fan mail, and I couldn't go anywhere. Everywhere I went, people were like glomming me, wanting autographs, getting pictures, and lo and behold, Hasbro called.